What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are back with another video. And today I'm wrapping up the 2020 Arnold Classic men's bodybuilding prejudging, and it was a battle between 3 to 4 guys. You had Steve Kuclo, you had William Bonac, Dexter Jackson, and Big Ramy in that final call out where they're trying to decide who's going to win the 2020 Arnold Classic in what was a great lineup with some letdowns and some guys that really surprised. So guys, you're going to see all that video coming up and my review of the prejudging, and then after the finals tonight we'll have all that and more. But I hope you guys enjoy this video. What's up, Desktopers? Now, before we get into this video, I want to encourage you guys, if you like this content and like these style of videos, please give me a thumbs up and smash that like button. Also, subscribe and hit that notification bell button. That way you won't miss out on any of the 2020 Arnold Classic action and future videos that are going out from that. And also all the other videos I do as well around bodybuilding and fitness. Anyway, let's get straight into this. So the first call out consisted of Cedric McMillan, Big Ramy, William Bonac, Dexter Jackson, Steve Kuclo, and Akeem Williams. So a few surprises in there that I suppose people didn't really expect. I mean, most of them people really did expect, except maybe Akeem Williams, and some people thought that Sergio Oliva and also Patrick Moore would be in that top 6 call out, but both were left out. But we could find them in that top 6 maybe after finals. But let's get straight into this one. So we'll go to the front double bicep, and Cedric McMillan from the left, as I called out before, Big Ramy, then William Bonac, Dexter Jackson, Steve Kuclo, and Akeem Williams. That's from left to right. So when we look at this front double bicep, Big Ramy is obviously the biggest dude on the stage, probably closely followed by Akeem Williams on the right. But when you look at this pose here, the guy that stands out to me is William Bonac. He looks great here. His legs look fantastic. Just the way he's doing that lean on that front double bicep pose, I think just really suits his physique and actually makes him look a lot more aesthetic. And his waist looks quite tight here, really. Like when you stand him next to Dexter Jackson, his waist looks tighter, and at least in terms of protruding from the front, where Dexter's is a lot better controlled, I think, than Tampa last year. William just really does look great here, and he really does look aesthetic, which is not something people really say too much about William Bonac. Now, Big Ramy is huge, as I said. Cedric brought pretty decent conditioning, maybe a little flat, but he looked pretty good overall. Steve Kuclo as well, probably, he sort of came alive. Like after he hit these poses, I think as he worked in the future rounds, I think he actually started to look better. And Akeem Williams, on the other hand, on the far right, he actually went the opposite way. He came out great, and then he seemed to fade a little bit. So on my front double bicep, the guy that stands out to me is William Bonac. Now, we move on to the front lat spread. We don't get a great view of this, but the biggest guy here is Big Ramy. He just opens up so big across the shoulders. He's got those giant quads. But when you see him standing next to William Bonac and Dexter, even though it's not their strongest pose, they still just look more detailed. So it depends what you weight more heavily here. I mean, Big Ramy is huge, but the details really do go William Bonac and Dexter Jackson on this one, and we don't get a full comparison on that properly, really. So let's move on to the side chest, and you got Cedric, I think, looking pretty damn good on the left-hand side there, but the guy that stands out is Big Ramy here. He looks absolutely enormous. While he might not have the details through the chest, you see his leg from the side is absolutely mammoth. He's just absolutely huge. So I've heard he's about 300 pounds for this contest, and to be honest, he sort of looks it when you see him standing next to like William Bonac and Dexter Jackson. But it's tough on this pose, but William Bonac looks really, really good, more detailed. Probably have him up there, but also Akeem Williams on the right. He looks like an absolute mammoth in this pose as well. So then we move on to the back double bicep, and this one here, like it's tough because Big Ramy is so huge, but then you got the more detailed guys like Dexter Jackson and William Bonac. For me, I would probably give that to William Bonac, maybe just over Big Ramy, but when you see the size of Big Ramy's back and shoulders and arms in that pose, he just looks absolutely ridiculous. So that one's really, really tough. Then we go into the back lat spread. We don't get a good comparison on that one at all, so I can't really judge, to be honest with you guys. Then we go into the side tricep. Now, that one there, we don't get too much of a good look on that either, but William Bonac looks really good in that pose. Also, Dexter Jackson looks pretty damn good as well. Then they move a few of the guys around, and they go into the ab pose where we don't get much of a look on that. But in reality, you'd probably say Dexter Jackson's winning that. William Bonac, the way he hits that pose is always sort of a little bit awkward to me. Big Ramy just sort of doesn't really suit it as much anymore. I feel like his waist isn't as tight as it used to be, and his legs are mammoth, which is obviously part of a pose, but yeah, it's just not one of those ones that really does it for me on Ramy. Then you get into the most muscular, and I've got to say, like, Ramy doing the hands together most muscular, yeah, while he's huge, I prefer Dexter Jackson's crab most muscular doing right next to him. Then you got Cedric on the left, who I think looks fantastic here. Steve Kuclo looks absolutely huge, which he is. And William Bonac's most muscular, crab most muscular, is insane. So a lot of really good most musculars up there. And then the second call out, you've got Ken Williams stays in that one, and that's when he started to look like he was struggling. He looked like he was having a real tough time on stage. The head judge even asked, "Are you okay?" So Keem stayed in that second call out. Cedric stayed in that second call out as well, which suggested that they have the top four sorted out, which was true in the end. So these guys were being compared to the guys in the second call out, so the guys from 7th onwards. Then you had Akeem, Cedric, Sergio Oliva, Max Charles, Victor Martinez, and Patrick Moore. And that seemed about right to me. I think they got that pretty much spot on. And as I said earlier, like many people were expecting Patrick Moore and Sergio Oliva to be right up there. Now I thought both these dudes looked actually quite good. Sergio looked much improved, I think, from when he won the New York. He's maybe, you could say, if anything, he's a little bit flat. But overall, I thought he looked really good. From the back, he needs to still improve to really fill that out to be, you know, on a top level in an Arnold Classic or a Mr. Olympia. But he is sort of at that next level after the top group. And I think it won't take Sergio that long, you know, in the next couple of years to be in that top group really, really battling for a win. Patrick Moore, it's still the same thing. He needs just a bit more size, especially to his legs, like his quads. Once he gets that, he'll be real dangerous, but he just needs more time in the end. And his conditioning was great once again, but I don't think he'll have the same, I suppose, hype coming out of this Arnold Classic as he did coming into it. And Victor Martinez, I was really excited to see Victor because I was impressed with him last year. He did look downsized from last year. While his conditioning was really good, I think he just came in too flat here, and it really showed in his legs in compared to last year. Max Charles, he's the dude that stood out to me, and he's a guy that I actually think could push up into that top 6. Now, the way I'm thinking they'll probably place him is about 7th, maybe 6th. And I really hope he does push into that top 6 spot because he was peeled like crazy. He was the hardest guy in this lineup by far. He's one of the guys that definitely could get looked over, but they did move him up. So you could tell the way they moved him around on stage. You know, he started on the outside of that second call out, and then he got moved right near the middle as well. So Max Charles, crazy conditioning. He was the real standout of the show for me because I had him out of the top 10 before this show started, and I just, you know, based off what he's doing late last year, he was good, but he wasn't great like he was here. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for that lineup there. And then we go to the last call out. We had Josh Lenardowitz, who even he admitted going into this show, he probably wasn't going to be at his best. And that showed on stage as well. While he had some good details, he just needs to be big, and then detailed for him to really, I suppose, do well in these sorts of shows. Then we also had Johnny Jackson, who made his comeback. His upper body's still crazy. Like, you know, his back is just absolutely insane, but his legs are just too far down. Even in smaller shows, I think he might struggle these days, unless he comes in peeled to the bone. And then we had Morgan Asti, who actually, I've got to say, now I was expecting this dude to come last or second last or something like that. I think he actually wins his call out because he is peeled to the bone. When he turns to the back, his glutes are just granite. It's ridiculous. And he is huge. Like when he just stands there on stage, you're like, whoa, this is the biggest guy on stage. But it just, when he hits a few of his shots, he doesn't flow as well. But overall, I've got to say Morgan Asti impressed me. So then they went to a final 4 call out at the very end. It was William Bonac, Dexter Jackson, Big Ramy, and Steve Kuclo. And it really solidified who they were going for in this one. And what was interesting about this, they basically started Dexter Jackson and William Bonac in the middle, and they were posing. So you had Ramy on the outside, and then you had Steve Kuclo on the other side. So I was thinking, okay, the way I was seeing it playing out was maybe William Bonac winning, Dexter Jackson second, Big Ramy third, and Steve Kuclo in 4th. And I would have been happy with that, to be honest, because Dexter Jackson, I know seeing him in person, he has details upon details, and he just looks, I don't know, his proportions just look freakier. And it's the same thing with William Bonac, actually, too. When I saw him in person take on Sean Roden at I think the last Australian Pro before it turned into the Australian Arnold Classic, William Bonac blew me away, and I actually thought, to be honest, he should have beaten Sean Roden at that show. I just thought he was just so dense and detailed and bubbly. It was crazy. But anyway, these two guys are impressive in person. I haven't seen Big Ramy in person, but I will be seeing him in person in a couple of weeks' time at the Arnold Classic Australia. But I know these guys are so impressive. So it's hard to say where I think Dexter's going to beat Big Ramy, because I just haven't seen these guys compete against each other in person. And one's obviously more detailed, one's obviously a hell of a lot bigger. So I can't make that call there. I'm not too sure who will finish, between third and second there, in my opinion. But I think William Bonac has this show won. Now, it's not a foregone conclusion, but I think he looks sensational. He's got the best balance. He's bigger than Dexter, with pretty much the same details or close to it, but he is harder than Ramy. So I think he's got the best balance there. I thought this was a very good package for William. Maybe not his best, but close to it. And I think a William that's close to his best is extremely hard to beat. As we saw last year, he's only beaten by one man all year, and that was Brandon Curry, because he got second at the Arnold Classic and second at the Olympia. So I have William Bonac winning this. In second, I'd have to say, because they moved Ramy into the middle and put Dexter on the outside halfway through that last call out, or actually probably a little bit earlier than halfway through, then I think that means Ramy's probably going to be in second. So we're going to have William Bonac, Ramy in second. I'd say Dexter Jackson in third. Fourth, Steve Kuclo. And then after that, you might have in fifth, Cedric McMillan. Maybe in sixth, you'll get a Sergio or a Max Charles based on the call-outs. One of those two guys from sixth and seventh. Maybe eighth place to Akeem. He could actually push into that 6th and 7th spot as well. But based on how they were moving him out in the second call out, that's sort of what it looked like to me. And then after that, it's sort of your guess to, who comes 9th and 10th. I'd probably say like 9th, Patrick Moore, 10th, Victor Martinez, 11th, Morgan Asti, 12th, Josh Miladowicz, and 13th, Johnny Jackson. That's what I'd guess. But it'll be interesting to see how close I am after finals tonight. So anyway, guys, if you like this content and appreciate it, please give me a thumbs up on this. Also, give me a thumbs up and smash that like button. Same. Anyway, subscribe and hit that notification bell button. That way you'll be notified of every bit of Arnold Classic news from this weekend and all my future bodybuilding content as well. And guys, I appreciate all the love I've been getting from you, and I'm really enjoying doing all these YouTube clips again. Anyway, that's it. For Xavier Wills, Desktop Bodybuilding, we are out.